A simple word, yet one that carries one of the greatest challenges of our existence. Have you ever imagined what it would be like if everyone around you acted exactly as you wished? Following your rules, your standards, your desires? It sounds ideal, doesn't it? But life doesn't work that way. And thankfully so. Divine Providence, or the universe if you prefer, placed us on a planet full of differences. Habits, beliefs, cultures, and even distinct rhythms. It's precisely this diversity that makes life so rich and, at the same time, so challenging. But do we truly understand what it means to be tolerant? Is it about passively accepting everything? Or is it about respecting differences without compromising what we believe is right? These are crucial questions. The practice of tolerance is directly linked to building an environment of peace and mutual respect. When we embrace differences, we cultivate deeper and more meaningful relationships. And by accepting others with their beliefs, flaws, and virtues, we also learn to accept ourselves with more generosity and compassion. However, being tolerant requires courage. Courage to confront our own prejudices and insecurities. Courage to open ourselves to new ways of seeing the world. We live in a time when differences are often used to divide us, but it is through tolerance that we build bridges and find common ground. When we are truly tolerant, we create spaces of freedom where others can express themselves authentically, without fear of criticism or retaliation. This is an act of greatness. Stoicism, one of the most practical schools of ancient philosophy, teaches us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is beyond it. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Applied to tolerance, this concept shows that our reaction to differences is more important than the differences themselves. Being tolerant is choosing not to be enslaved by our emotions when facing what we cannot change. Tolerance is not about yielding or agreeing with everything. Tolerance is about understanding. Tolerance is about seeing the other as a unique human being with experiences, choices, and challenges only they know. Think about the last time you lost your patience. Perhaps it was in traffic, with someone who cut you off. What was your reaction? Did you honk, curse, or take a deep breath and move on? Tolerance helps us avoid making mountains out of molehills. It teaches us that someone's impulsive act doesn't have to destabilize us. Intolerance, on the other hand, is often the weapon of the insecure. When we fail to see others as fellow travelers, we feel threatened. This distances us from something essential, understanding that we are all on the same journey, learning and growing together. It's interesting how intolerance manifests in so many areas of life. It appears in small family arguments, impatience with co-workers, and even on social media, where differing opinions often spiral into heated conflicts. The Stoics offer us another valuable lesson: to practice indifference to what doesn't matter. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This reminds us that intolerance is often an impulsive response to external differences. When we stop worrying so much about what others do or think, we free ourselves to act with patience and empathy. Tolerance is not weakness. On the contrary, it is an act of strength and wisdom. Those who practice tolerance can see beyond the superficial, understanding that everyone carries a unique burden. A story illustrates this well. A monk asked his disciples how they would react if someone slapped them. One said he would retaliate with violence. Another claimed he would respond even more aggressively. But a third replied, "I would not strike back. I would feel compassion and ask, 'What is happening? How can I help you?'" This response teaches us that tolerance is an exercise in empathy, the ability to see beyond the action and seek to understand the pain or imbalance that motivated it. Another story also makes us reflect. A traveler crossing the desert with little water encountered another traveler completely dehydrated. Knowing that sharing the water could put himself at risk, he chose to help. This act of compassion is one of the purest forms of tolerance. The Stoics also championed the concept of sympathia, the idea that we are all interconnected. By being tolerant toward others, we help ourselves. After all, harmony in relationships directly affects our inner peace. Practicing tolerance in daily life is a conscious choice. The next time something irritates you, think, what if it were me? Perhaps I would be stressed or going through something difficult. Instead of reacting, try listening. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? The practice of tolerance begins within us. It requires kindness toward our own mistakes, understanding that we are always a work in progress. Tolerance is a skill that stabilizes our emotions and allows us to live with greater serenity. Respecting differences and embracing the diversity of thoughts, cultures, and stories leads to a more balanced life. As the saying goes, silence and tolerance are the weapons of those who think. Thus, tolerance is not just an ethical value, but a daily practice that fosters harmonious coexistence in a pluralistic society. Reflecting on what true tolerance is, we realize it cannot be imposed. It starts within us. By accepting our flaws and imperfections, we are ready to accept others with respect. What if you could restart your relationships today? What if you chose to reflect instead of react? What impact would this have on your friendships, your family, and your most challenging relationships? Think, when was the last time you practiced tolerance? How can you bring more tolerance into your life today? Tolerance is just the beginning. It opens doors to even more transformative virtues, capable of changing the way we live. That is the great lesson of the Stoics, to live in harmony, respecting what is different and accepting what we cannot change. But perhaps, that is a conversation for another day.